Hi, teacher. I hope that you're safe and that you're okay in your house. Here's my last step for the final test that you asked for it, that it would be the description of the project, the strengths and the weaknesses of it. So I will explain everything. If you have any question or doubt, you can send me an email and I'll be glad to help you with it. Well, the description of the class, basically I did a virtual class in which I explained different activities and the students of the class needed to do those activities. I personally chose seventh graders. I like high school better than schools. Actually, if I one day became actually a teacher, I would hope that I can work at a high school. So the seventh graders, the theme or the topic that I chose, it would be basically like places in town, the cost of everything from popcorns, from clothes, from medicine, everything that they can associate with that. And also, well, of course, the name of the places and what different items can you buy in those places depending on the place, of course. So yeah, that was basically the idea of my project. I decided that I wanted to do the places in town because I never done something like that. I always worked with like family ties and with sports and different topics. I never chose this one, and I think that it is pretty easy to get activities from it and to make the class more enjoyable for the students and they can learn a lot. I think that that topic in specific is something that we nowadays need to know how to say it in English, like library, cinema, hospital, well, the drugstore, everything. And more now that we are going through this pandemic, we need to know the name of places for any emergency. So the activities that I did, I think that I basically did four, if you do not include the video, of course. Well, on the first activity, it was a brainstorm. So the question was, what can we do and buy in those places? And I placed the picture of different places like shop, like drugstore, hospital, cinema, theater, library, and they had to like make a brainstorm of every single thing that they thought of the place. It didn't have to be like a sentence because we did sentences after, but they had to do like a brainstorm to have an idea of the concepts that they knew and the concepts that they wanted to know in order to work on the next activity, which was watching a video on YouTube and where the video basically says like this is the library and you can find books in here, and this is the police station, police officers working here, and different vocabulary that help the students to the next activity, which was write 10 sentences of places and things that you can buy in there, but they had to write like prices. So, for example, I can say, I can go to the library and buy a book of Harry Potter, which its value is 10,000 colones. So the idea for that activity was that they can associate the pricing of different items and the places and the products, like everything together, which is pretty important because at the age of like the seventh graders, that basically is like 13, 12, 14 maybe, they have to know the value of money. They have to know the places. They have to know where they can find everything. For example, if they're in a hurry and they are feeling sick, they have to know that they can go to the drugstore and buy medicine. I don't know, acetaminophen or something. So, and what is the pricing for that item? So they can go and they don't have to go and ask for the pricing. Of course, everything is going to change according to the place that they go, but the idea is that they have like this general um, thought of everything. yeah, that was like you can say the third activity or the second if you do not include the video on it. And then we did two activities that they were interactive. The first one, it was a letter soup or an alphabet soup, in which they had to find the places listed, and the places were 17th, and they included like bakery and everything that they might have known or that they learned through this process. It, there was no time to finish it. And yeah, that was the alphabet soup. And then they had to do a crossword, which basically it would give them clues of the places and they had to guess. So for example, if I say in here you can buy books. So what's the word? It would be library. So that was the idea for everything. I think that on that activity there were like 7 words or 7 clues that they had to guess. The strengths and weaknesses. I think that a strength of teaching online, it would be or virtual classes, as you wanna call it, is that you can be more, um, how can I say, like more creative maybe with your activities. Because if you're at home, you probably will have a good internet. I'm not saying that it would be all the cases. Of course, there are exceptions for that. But you can send them like more interactive activities, which they can do online and they would be faster because maybe if they're in a class, maybe they are going to say like, I don't have money on my phone to go to internet, I don't have connection, so it is easier to do it online. And I think that another strength is that students will be more relaxed. I've noticed that, like, on my honest opinion as a student, that I've been more relaxed now um, that I am at home. And besides that, I think that you can work more organized. Like your work become more organized now that you have to do everything at the comfort of your house and not that you have to go to a place and you're tired and you're doing everything in a hurry. So on your house, you can be like relaxed. And I think that weaknesses are that, well, you cannot see the face of the student, so it's kind of hard to know if they do understand or not. And maybe they are afraid of asking. That's a thing that I think that it will always happen. Like students sometimes have doubts and they don't ask because they are afraid. And now that you cannot see their faces if they are understanding or not, it's harder. And also, well, as I said before, we are more relaxed. And it depends on the student, that would be a weakness. Why? Because the student gets so relaxed that they don't like have their responsibility mode on to finish their work, to be good at their work, to give everything because nobody's looking at them. So they're like, well, I can do it any other time. So yeah, I think that those are weaknesses. And besides that I think that you have to be like a little bit more soft with the things that you ask for the students because some of them are not used to have virtual classes. So it depends on the topic. You cannot ask for that extra mile if you're not looking at them, if you don't know if the topic is hard or not. So yeah, I think that is like a balance. I think that covers everything that you ask for. Thank you very much, teacher. And if you have a doubt, you can ask me.